Hey guys, so still I've upgraded from lying on the floor to sitting on the floor now. So still not feeling all that great, but enough about my problems. Let's talk about code. So today we are going to talk about innovation and hectic work environments and all that good stuff that comes with working in IT these days. So let's get into it. Now, for the juniors out there, I would like to say that this is a core. This it varies a little bit, I suppose, but in my personal experience, you and I and everybody else seems to be living in a time where there's a big buzz around this word, and it's called innovation. And innovation is basically has taken over the role that being disruptive had just a few years ago, because everything when Uber was breaking through, everything was about being disruptive. And as far as I know, I can't really determine which one it is. Like I innovated. I suppose that the end goal is the same: make money and come up with new ideas that you can make even more money of. And you see, in my experience, what's happening these days is that we are infecting our. I don't want to call it infecting, but we have this mindset in most of let's say the private sector and so forth. We have a lot of push on just generally on the companies themselves, on the industry, and especially on us developers, to think outside the box, to innovate and like push all of these trendy new things. And it's creating this wave that I want to just touch on that a little bit and share some thoughts on it. Because my thought is this: it used to be the case that you built software to a point, like you were innovating, but you didn't have this political, like, sales type of mentality around it. When you built something, you built it in order for it to solve a problem. But the perspective was that it was being built for, how do I put it? It was not built in order to, this hype about innovation wasn't around. So you built it to be a solid, good type of thing for the times. This is when C# and like Java, like in the older days, and even before, long before that, where this idea of having trendy tools and having innovation and like doing all of these cool, fancy things they weren't in the focus as much. It was more about writing the right software and building the right thing and making sure that it worked. Stability, if you will, was a much stronger buzzword than it is today. Today, iteration speed and fail often and celebrate mistakes, all of these trend terms that we have today, I didn't see those. Like when I was starting out, they were coming around. And I know for a fact from talking to developers who's been doing this for a lot longer than me, that it wasn't the case, right? It simply wasn't. Like, you had another focus, and to me, sometimes it gets a little bit stressful to be in this hectic environment all the time, and especially when you work in a company where like everybody, you're pushing this constantly, like innovation, like think outside the box. There's almost this sensation of chaos or urgency, if you will. You feel stressed, almost. At least I sometimes I do. Like I feel stressed basically because of all this innovation. I love it. I would rather have stress than I would want to have boredom. I hate boredom and I prefer stress in that context. But it doesn't have to be that way. So what I want to talk to the juniors out there about is that it very much, like, if and even the seniors, but honestly, if you're a senior, I'm pretty sure you're not, like, you're kind of gonna go, duh, Fredrik, I know that because I've been working at this and that place, and I already know this. I mean, I'm not trying to in any way say that I know more than a senior, because I don't. But what I realized the other day was, after talking to one of my more senior colleagues, he made me realize something that I had forgotten, and that is that, because from my perspective, from somebody who has been working mostly in these sort of companies where this buzzword of being innovative and like focusing on like creating new things all the time, that's the norm. So I've never really worked in a company where the mentality has been different. And it's actually something I'm considering very seriously to just try out to see how it feels to work in a more slow moving environment. And the reason why I realized this is because my coworker who I spoke to yesterday, he explained that he used to work at the post office, their IT department. And he talked about his time there, and he said that the mindset was completely different. Like, you clocked in 9 to 5, or like, yeah, the regular work hours for anywho. And he basically said that, yeah, it was a completely different mindset. I mean, this idea of like having a after work party and where you worked, or like having these hackathons and doing all of this stuff and having like sharp deadlines and celebrates failures, that didn't really exist there. You like the mindset was that, all right, we have this product, a lot of people depend on us doing a really good job here, so we don't take risks with this project. We have to make it has to work. It's absolutely critical. I mean, imagine the postal service. If their systems go down, like everybody loses their, like it would be catastrophic. So their mindset was like slow, methodical, make sure it works, make sure it's good, and test the living shit out of it. And he said the only time like this, like no one like just came into the office and said, hey guys, let's order some pizza and hack away at some stuff. Never. The only times they stayed late was when something was wrong, because like then they would like sit up until the problem was fixed. And that's kind of like being on call, guys. Like, and if you think about it, like it makes sense that you have to do that, because if the system doesn't work, when it's such a critical system, it has to work. Like, it's like I mean, if something goes wrong with the code in a nuclear reactor and their computer system, you kind of have to fix it. It's not really up for discussion, right? So what I want to leave you here, I want to leave you with this thought that I've had, that if you're feeling the stress and you feel that all these companies are only hyping like rockstar programmers, innovation, disruption, and it's all about trends and it's all about learning new languages and doing fancy stuff with functional programming and like all of this tech stuff that is so hyped and so trendy, and everything is in React and Angular, and you feel stress over that, maybe you should try to find a company, as I said, that it's not about trends. It's not about innovation. It is about making sure that something a lot of people depend on is working, and that it's working well. Have a great day.